Hey beauties, it's Riri. If you're new here, I'm an over 40 lover of all things beauty and I love showcasing indie brands here on my channel. Today is a request from you guys and a video I'm super excited about. We are doing a full face of beauty creations. I will link my advent calendar unboxing. I did an advent calendar and a small mystery box from them. Blown away thus far by the packaging and stuff like that. And not only is this kind of a testing them and doing a full face, it's a full-on review because I did do this exact same look. We'll tweak it a little bit for my son's birthday. So I already have a full wear test in. I kind of have my feelings and thoughts on how I feel about everything. First and foremost, we're gonna go in and prime. This is the Flawless Stay Grip Primer. It says for all skin types. And the only thing I have on my skin is moisturizer and I have my brows done. This is a sticky grip type primer. And if you are unfamiliar, and if you are familiar with the e.l.f. Power Grip one or the Milk Makeup one, this is slightly thinner, which I like. And it kind of dries and it kind of goes into the skin a little bit quicker than both of those do. So I really like this a lot. There's no strong scent or anything like that. And it doesn't feel quite as sticky and quite as gripping as those do. Like it doesn't take as long to kind of set down and dry down and things like that. I really enjoyed this. This does say an oil-free sticky gel hydrating primer that soothes, primes, and plumps the skin. I don't know that I'm seeing a lot of, plumping or anything like that, but I really do like it. It doesn't give the level of like hydration and glow the way that the e.l.f. Niacinamide one does, the one that I'm almost done using, but I really enjoyed this a lot. I'm also, before I go in with foundation, going to put on some of the Beauty Creations lip oil. And this is in, it says my favorite topper lip oil. And it's one of those that's more of like a color change. Love the doe foot applicator. Smells delicious, smells nice and fruity. Very thin, gives a beautiful level of shine, and I like the pinkiness of this. So our lips are prepped, our skin is prepped. I'm gonna hop off camera really quickly because I do not have foundation from them. And this is the LYS Beauty foundation stick in MN3. BRB. The foundation on. So that I'm really loving, would definitely recommend, would repurchase. I like that it's a little bit thinner in texture and consistency and not quite as tacky as some. Although if you're looking for, if you're like me and you have drier skin, if you're looking for that hydration that maybe the e.l.f. one has, this is not going to give that to you. But I really like it. I like the makeup sets on top. Next up, we will dive into our eyes. I'll do the exact same look that I did. This is the Nude X Mini My Attraction palette. And it is a beautiful, very soft, neutral palette with pinks. And I'm going to go in with an open, fluffy brush to start with. And I'm going to go into the lighter and the mid-tone brown in here. And I'm going to pop that in my crease. This does have a little bit of pink on it from the birthday party. So I'm okay with that because I'm going to go into the pink afterwards. I'm just kind of throwing the natural shades into my crease first. I hope you guys are well. I want to know if you guys do, maybe we can talk about like, New Year's resolutions or intentions. A lot of people call them intentions. Do you set New Year's resolutions? I'm going to go into just this one, very lightly dusting it right here. But I kind of always say that I aim to be better today than I was yesterday. And maybe that's, stupid, and maybe that sounds a little bit cliche or whatever the case may be, but that is true. I just want to put into the world kindness, you know what I'm saying? I want to be a good person. I want to honestly just be happy. So kind of whatever that entails, you know what I mean? I'm fine with that part of it. Same exact little fluffy brush. I'm gonna kind of layer this on the bottom part here. But, I feel like we can have goals, and I try definitely, I guess it kind of comes with age and just, life and life experiences and stuff like that. I think you come to a place of just understanding that life's not always going to turn out how you plan. You can have a 3-year plan, a 5-year plan, you can have a day plan, and none of them could work, and they could all turn to crap. And I used to get really, really upset by that. I mean, obviously, we all do. If you have expectations or you're trying to, kind of achieve a goal or whatever, then yeah, it can be tough when those things are not happening, and I fully respect that. But I used to get to a point of allowing myself to get so upset in the this didn't happen space that I didn't see the joy in other things. Like, you know, for instance, maybe like with weight loss, health gain, I always kind of, you know, before I always would say, okay, you know, I would like to do this, I would like to stay, you know, on this amount of calories, or cut this or do this, and then lose X amount of weight. And I would give myself a time, which was stupid on my part. Again, you know, it comes with growth and learning and experiences and stuff like that. But I would then self-sabotage when X, Y, or Z goal was not met by X, Y, or Z date. Whereas now, and, you know, after last year, early last year, I finally was like, you know what? I'm going to do this a little bit different. I'm going to give myself little 5-pound goals, and, you know, maybe this week let's cut this, or this week let's do this, and then kind of work from here. And I think the point in that, and it does not have to be, you can see these are not my favorite as far as intensity, being fully opaque and stuff like that. Like, there's here it looks decently pigmented, but I could even go in with my finger and you just don't get a lot. And that's not a bad thing. I'm fine building up and stuff like that. Just kind of full transparency and a little bit of a spoiler. The mattes are okay. They did wear well, which is super, super important to me. The shimmers, they're lacking. They're definitely lacking. But we have something special to go on top. But, you know, I kind of retrained my brain, if you will, and started viewing things and kind of taking things a little bit smaller steps, if you will. I started, you know, making those smaller little goals for myself, and okay, you know, maybe this month let me not do this. Maybe this month let me try to do this. And a huge thing for me was getting bare floors, or like, you know, hardwood floors, laminate floors, at the beginning of last year, and being able to get a walking pad. That really kind of boosted me, and it kind of got me to a place of, I love the treadmill. I always loved the treadmill. Believe it or not, I was not always, you know, fluffy and fabulous. I ran track, I coached cheerleading, I was a cheerleader. I mean, I ran a mile in 6 minutes. Like, I was very fit. I was very in shape, and it's something that I always loved, and I do still love. And one of my goals is to get back to that place. You know, with my hips and my back and all that kind of stuff, maybe I'm never gonna run a 6-minute mile again, but I can damn sure be in a better place physically and with strength and stamina and stuff like that than I obviously, you know, currently am. I actually only took this on the outer corner the other day, but I'm gonna kind of just blend them all together and just see what happens. And maybe it'll become a muddy mess. If it does, I do apologize, but it looks pretty darn good to me. But yeah, they're a little drier, very, very kind of dusty and powdery, as you can see, and not the most pigmented. But in saying that, I think that they're going to be a little bit more beginner friendly and a little bit easier to kind of control, if you will. You know, versus kind of taking something that is too pigmented, and yes, that's a thing, taking something that's a little bit too pigmented and placing it down, and then it's just muddy and stuck in place, and it's not really blending out the way you hope it would blend out. And then I'm gonna go back in with this one. But I will say that, I mean, I liked the look that day, and it did last very well. Like, the mattes themselves lasted a really long time. So there's where I'm gonna go with the mattes. I think I'm gonna go back into that bone shade. So I just, you know, I feel like if we make more attainable goals, and whatever attainable is for you, like maybe you are somebody that, you know, in terms of talking about weight, or, you know, something like that, maybe you are somebody that you lose weight very easily. Maybe, you know, you are saying, okay, you know, this year I'm going to lose this amount of weight by this amount of time. That's great. That's fine. I am somebody that I kind of had to reel myself in, even with like filming, with my channel, with my home, with everything. You know, I only have so many spoons in a day. So for me, and for I think for a lot of us, I think it's about just kind of retraining the way that we think about things. I am going to put this on and just kind of show you guys. Like, it looks so pretty from here, but when it's applied, you really get nothing. I'm even going to try a little bit of a glitter primer. This is one from Gourmande Girls. I paid for it myself. It is my favorite glitter primer of all time. So I'm going to try to layer some of that up, and then we'll try to put some of that on top. So the mattes are okay. They do blend well, and they did last a long time on my lids. Not the most long lasting, but you know, for a more affordable brand, I definitely am going to give it a little bit of grace. And then I'll go back in again with the pink, and I'm picking up quite a bit. We get a little bit more with our base. And is it pretty? Yes. And I say this all the time, we do not always have to have the bells and the whistles and all that kind of stuff. I am just used to that. That's all. That's just my personal preference. Do I think this is fine? Yes. You know, I used it that day and I'll use it again. I think it would also be a beautiful travel palette. And I think brown eyes and pink look so incredibly beautiful together. So anyways, yeah, now, you know, and I've lost 40 pounds, and I mean, I have a long way to go, obviously, but now I don't beat myself up. And I think that was something that I really had to kind of come to terms with, I guess, and really try to kind of refocus, like I said, my energy and how I thought about things, how I did things, and expectations of myself, expectations of the world, of my channel, of life, friends, family, whatever the case may be. Because at the end of the day, you can make the biggest, best, most amazing, most laid out, thought out, intentional plan, and it can fall through. It can fail. And I think the important thing is, talking to myself too, the important thing is when you fail, to not take it so hard. And to realize that that's okay, that not every plan is going to come to fruition, not every plan is going to happen on time, and that's okay. And having that new train of thought, specifically through 2024 for me, and being able to get the treadmill and getting on it, most weeks I'm on it 5 days a week. There have been times that if I'm not feeling well, we have company, it's a little different, but you guys, having the treadmill, having a piece of equipment that is my favorite piece of equipment to use, and just getting on every single morning, just like clockwork. And I even had a friend of mine that was like, how did you find the motivation? I don't have the motivation. With adrenal disease and pain and depression and stuff like that, I have very few spoons to last throughout the day. I have very little motivation, okay? I don't do things out of motivation per se. It's more discipline. Even with filming and doing, you know, content creation and stuff like that. It's instinctively in me now to get up in the morning, take my dog out, go pee, throw on my shoes, and hop on the treadmill. It has become a schedule and a routine and about discipline. So I've kind of switched my train of thought with that. And even back in the day, like I said, if I would not, you know, reach those goals, if I didn't lose 40 pounds by this time, I was devastated. I was pissed off. I was hard on myself. I would spiral, and it would be the downfall of me. And it would take so long for me to kind of get back on track, whatever that on track is for you, whether it's weight loss, whether it's whatever, a new job, whatever the case may be, starting a business, getting married, whatever. But when I would fall off the train a little bit, I would self-sabotage. And then I would stop working out and stop eating well and start feeling like shit all over again. And then it is this vicious spiral that is so incredibly hard to break. And when you get into that type of cycle that is really hard to break, you guys, it's hell. It is literal hell. And last year I really took a different perspective on things, on friendships, on social media, life in general. And I really started focusing on me and saying it's okay to focus on me. It's okay to focus on yourself. Self-care, self-love is so incredibly important, you guys. And that's something I preach all the time. And when I got to that place of, let me love myself through this. Let me love myself and encourage myself, even though I didn't meet this goal. But having smaller, shorter, attainable goals has definitely worked as well. So next up, this is a single shadow in the shade Howdy. Love the packaging on this. Now this, baby. The packaging, I absolutely love. 10 out of 10. The actual shade, the way that this feels, 10 out of 10. Incredibly smooth, very high shine, very glass-like. And I'm not going to use a primer, just so I can show you. I'm going in with a very small amount. Now this knocked my freaking socks off. This is absolutely stunning. This is a hell yes. This is a win. This is a I would repurchase. This is a I highly recommend. It is absolutely stunning. Now the day that I did do my makeup, I did go in with primer back on top, and it does make it punch just a little bit more, but hopefully you can see that, how impactful that is. All the sparkle and shine, y'all. This is gorgeous. It's absolutely stunning. Then we're gonna go in with the glitter liner, and I do not have my glasses on, so I'm gonna put this real close, so hopefully you guys can see that. Hopefully I can see it in editing, but you can see it is a beautiful metallic glitter liner, and I just lined the actual lash line with this. This also blew my socks off. A lot of these, this one is a lot thinner and feels a little bit more kind of cooling, more like gel, instead of feeling a little bit too thick and too textured. You guys know what I mean if you've used these products before. It dries really fast. I didn't have any smudging, no budging. It is stunning and bulletproof. It lasted 12 plus hours. I wore this makeup 12 plus hours on that day. It's lovely. I would definitely repurchase this. I would definitely see what other colors they have. I would definitely repurchase the single shadow. And the eyeshadow palette, like I said, it's not bad. I just like a little bit more from my shimmer formula. And in the mattes, it does take, you know, you gotta work for it, but that's fine. I don't mind doing that at all. All right, I am going to let this dry for just a second, and then I'm gonna go in and toss on some mascara. I'm just gonna grab FanFest. That's what I grabbed first. BRB. Here are the eyes, finished. Yeah, that single shadow and the glitter liner, super impressed by. Next up, we'll go into blush. Again, I love the packaging. This is She's Got It, the Lip and Cheek Balm. I like to work with a domed, firm brush. I go in and pick up some product. You can see it's incredibly pigmented. And then I kind of push it into my hand and really press it into the brush and kind of work it in evenly. I like to keep my blush a little lower. This smells delicious. It smells very fruity. It smells good, y'all. It smells real good. And it applies beautifully. I don't feel like you can do too much. It's beautiful. I do not have a bronzer from them, so I'm going to take my blush up a little higher than I generally do. And it starts off like it feels a little bit more waxy is the best way I think I can kind of describe that to you guys. Like, it's not like super slippy, but not like super thick and cakey. It's a little bit more kind of waxy, but when it sets down on the skin, you can see, like, you don't see any sheeniness or anything like that. Like, it actually sets down. And to me, it gives a beautiful soft, like, diffusion, a little bit of blurring to the skin. I think it is absolutely beautiful. It did wear incredibly well too. So really, honestly, the only kind of dud, and not even a dud, it just doesn't give me as much as I like, is the eyeshadow palette. But can you make it work? And is it still nice? Sure. Next up is the Glow Up Cushion Tip Applicator in the shade Honey Gold. And I do like that, even though this is more affordable, I do not typically like components like this. Even though it's a more affordable brand, it still does have the off and on. I'm just gonna put a little tiny bit, hopefully, onto the back of my hand. And you can see it's supposed to be more of those like glowy, highlighty, bronzery type of moments. I'm gonna go with that same exact brush. And because this is too dark for me as a highlight, I am just gonna kind of mix it into the blush. And then it's going to kind of just give me an illuminated blush effect so that it doesn't appear too dark on me. And I feel like I could honestly get away with this as maybe just like a very glowy bronzer. It would be fine. And then in the summertime, I could absolutely use it as more of like a straight up highlighter. And this, it has a little bit of density to it. It's a little bit more opaque, but as you can see on the skin, I'll go straight from the tube just to kind of show you. Even on the skin though, you can see it looks just super intense and really dark. But look how incredibly easy it blends out. Like, I'm impressed by most of these products. Like I said, the eyeshadow leaves a little to be desired, but it's not horrible at all. So now when I kind of mix it in with the blush, it just gives a beautiful, just like a little soft kind of glow with the blush. I like this. I like it a lot. I do want to go into this little My Little Pony thing, and then we'll finish up with lips. So back to my conversation. This is the Full of Magic Body and Face Gel Glitter from the My Little Pony collection. They do a ton of like licensed collaborations and stuff like that. I have not tested this. Let me grab my tweezers because I cannot open it. I've wanted to try them for a very long time, and then I actually got a couple requests from you guys during Advent season, and y'all were like, can you please try some beauty creations? And I was like, done. Don't know how much it take. They feel like the Glitterly Obsessed from ColourPop, but not quite as thick and chunky, so I think I'm gonna like this. I'm gonna use it today as just a highlight moment. I could definitely put this on the eyes. Ooh. It smells very strongly of alcohol. Oh, I got too much. Let me share some over here. I'll see how long it kind of takes to dry, which with a gel consistency and then having alcohol in it, it should dry pretty quickly, and that's probably the point of the alcohol. Oh, that's pretty. I think this on top of just like doing any kind of matte, more specifically like a black matte, and then throwing this all over, that would be stunning. All right, let's do lips, and we'll see how long this takes to dry down. That is gorgeous though. Ooh. And I like that they're like sporadic and kind of all over, so it just looks a little bit prettier in my opinion versus something being kind of gloopy or big chunks or something like that. But hopefully you guys get where I'm coming from. I want to set goals for myself, but I don't want to be so hard on myself when I don't set those goals, because then I get to a really bad place mentally and I beat myself up. And you know, the old saying, like, we are our own worst enemies. I want to be my biggest cheerleader this year. That's something that I am really working on. And that's not like a New Year's goal or New Year's resolution. That is a lifetime goal, a lifetime intention for myself, is to treat myself more kind. Because I'm not very kind to myself, and I beat myself up a lot, and I have a lot of self-doubt. So I'm working on that this year. I'm still aiming for some weight loss, health gain goals. We got some work to still do, but I'm very proud of the progress that I have made. I want to work on my relationships with you guys, having even more connection with you guys, getting over the fear of going live so we can go live and interact even on a more grand scale. I love the interaction with you guys. Really reconnecting and connecting on a deeper level with my husband, with my son, with my family, my friends. Those are kind of some of my goals. I want to get to a place, I'm hoping by the end of the year, where I'm running again. Even if it's just a slow jog on my treadmill, but I want to be able to run again and feel that feeling that I used to have. And it may never happen because of my hips and stuff, but I'm damn sure going to try. I want to venture out of my house a little bit more. I do not really leave my house very often because of my anxiety. My anxiety is gearing more on agoraphobia, where I do not leave my house, you guys. Very, very rarely do I leave my house. I don't drive. And I want to try to get over some fears, try to have a life, try to really live life. I say this all the time, like, time is the most beautiful, wonderful, powerful, most important thing that we have. And so often we take it for granted, and I don't want to do that. I try not to do that. I'm very mindful of time, and that's why I say thank you so much to you guys, because you don't have to spend your time here on this earth coming to watch me. And yet you do, and I appreciate you so much. But what are your intentions, or do you call them resolutions? Is it just something for you like me that you just want to set small goals for yourself? And have you found that maybe as you've aged or gotten older, or you have different goals for yourself, do you tend to make smaller, more attainable goals, or is it still like, hey baby, I want to go from point A to point B? I'd like to know. Next up, we'll go into lips. This is the Plump and Pout Plumping Lip Liner. This is the shade Attracted to You. I do really love their packaging, their whole vibe, the entire aesthetic with like the cute little hearts and stuff like that, like the single shadow. The packaging I love. This is very much like my all-time favorite lip liner ever, the Too Faced Lip Injection Extreme Lip Plumping ones. It does click up. When you click it up, you cannot click it back down, noting that for you guys. And I do not like this as much. As you can probably already see, it's quite glidey. And yes, it looks nice. I did get a good amount of wear from it. I don't feel a lot of plumping from this particular product or anything like that, but I like the Too Faced one still better. It's my favorite because it has a little bit of grip, but it's not tuggy, waxy, or hard, but it's not so mushy and creamy like the ColourPop ones. So this is kind of in between those. I'll use it up. I still like it. But you can see like it's creamy. Like you can be a little messy with it. It can kind of get away from you a little bit. Overall, I like it. And you can kind of feel like a little tiny something, but it's not as intense, and maybe that's what you're looking for. It's not as intense as the Too Faced one. I'm looking for my lip brush, which I cannot find. And I will note that even though it's a little kind of too glidey for me, I know I'm picky, as it kind of dries down, it does kind of dry in place a little bit more, and then you can kind of start feeling a little bit of tingling sensation. So I really like it. Would actually probably repurchase this, I think. It's not my Too Faced. Then last but not least in our beauty creations is the Plump and Pout Plumping Gloss Stick in the shade Only You. Again, I love their packaging. And this is kind of very similar vibes to some other lip products. Again, you can click up, but you cannot click back down. And this, I love. I have talked about the Tarte ones like this. You can see it's quite shiny and it's a little bit like thinner, but still has a little bit of opacity to it. And it's kind of thinner and a little bit more slippy, but not mushy and gushy. The regular Tarte Maracuja Juicy, whatever the heck they're freaking called that went viral, I hated those, like hated those. I literally, you could barely touch it and it was just sliding everywhere and going everywhere. This does not do that, even though still for me, it's a little too glidey. And if you are looking for, like if the Too Faced ones are too much for you, like in this kind of line, these are very spot on dupes. I would say they're an 85% dupe, like they're damn near close. This even is just a little bit more slippy and kind of, you know, thin and mushy. That's the best way I can describe it, you guys. It's a little bit more thin than what the new Too Faced ones are. But if the Too Faced ones are too much for you, too tingly, too burny, this just gives a little bit of that. It's very, very faint, not painful or anything like that, like, which I love a plumper, but this, I stand by the Too Faced ones. I just love them, you guys. I love them. But yeah, they're also great. And this look is pretty damn beautiful, in my opinione. Yeah, the only things from everything that I tried that I'm like, it is what it is, it's okay, is the eyeshadow palette. Can you get there? Are they okay? Do they wear okay? Sure. The shimmers in here are not for me. Single shadow, absolute standout, gorgeous. The blush, absolute standout. Everything else is a standout. And this, the only reason I would not repurchase this is solely because the packaging, and that is a me thing. It's not the product. The product itself is gorgeous. Let's see how this feels. Yeah, that gel has also dried completely down. It is picking up just a little bit on my fingers, but I feel like it's gonna stay in place pretty damn good, y'all. Yeah, overall, wonderful experience. I am so grateful for you guys. Like, as much as I'm, here to influence you. I don't like that term. I'm a creator. I'm an entertainer. I hope to entertain you, teach you a little something, have a little bit of fun with you. As much as I'm influencing you guys, like you influence me just as much. Like I've purchased so many products based on you guys' recommendations, and I'd seen beauty creations and kind of wanted to test them out, but having somebody say like, hey, can you get one of the mystery boxes or try their advent calendar, me doing the advent calendar and you guys being like, please do a look. So thank you guys. Like without you guys, I would have never discovered the brand, and I overall love them. Based on the collection that I have here and the products I have here, I'm giving them a 4.5 out of 5. And that is solely because the palette is a tiny bit lacking, and I don't like this packaging. That's a personal thing though. Everything else, you guys, though, like when I say standout, when I say we'll use again, when I say impactful, beautiful, yes, please. I'm thrilled. Absolutely thrilled. Have you tried beauty creations? What are your intentions for the year? Comment down below. Let's have that conversation. Thank you guys. Seriously, thank you for being here. Thank you to my beautiful channel members. I love you. Stay happy, healthy, and safe. And of course, be your own best beautiful. Bye, beauties.